This now, firefighters are battling multiple fires on the slopes of Table Mountain. The wildfires forced more than 190 households of Noordhoek, Barnyard and Silwersteen to evacuate. Silwersteen, rather. The fire began on Friday in Tokai, spreading across sections of Constantiaberg and the Silvermine East, triggering road closures and widespread smoke over much of the Cape Peninsula. Table Mountain National Park Manager Megan Taplin joins us live now for more. Megan, a very good afternoon to you. Of course, all hands are on deck. You've had your hands full as well. We don't want to speculate on anything else in terms of the cause of the fire. But what are your preliminary suspicions so far?
Good afternoon. We have done some investigation, and of course the investigation is ongoing and will only be concluded once it's safe, the fire is contained and it's safe to go back into the initial areas. But we do believe that the fires were started with malicious intent, intentionally, on Friday evening. There were multiple sources of ignition, and we do have some findings there, but of course we still need to investigate further.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, wildfires in the city of Cape Town are nothing new, but who gains to actually cause arson?
I'm really not sure. You'd probably need to speak to a psychologist in terms of why people do that kind of thing, because of course, you know, the consequences are dire. As we've seen, the fire's now been burning for quite a number of days and taking a lot of resources to work on it and to actively keep it away from burning down people's houses and threatening people's lives. So, you know, it's very difficult to try and find the person who did start this. But we will do all that we can because, I mean, it is taking such a lot of resources and such a huge risk to people.
Difficult to track the person, but also the motive behind it as well, because it's so devastating, the impact. Talk to us about those affected areas from Tokai to Silvermine East and Constantiaberg. How are they looking now?
Right. Well, the fire is still burning on a number of fronts. It's a long boys drive, which remains closed still. But it's not threatening any houses on that side above Clovelly and St. James and Cork Bay. There was a threat to the houses in the Stonehurst area and the Navy properties earlier this afternoon, but that seemed to be largely contained now. There is also a fire moving down the Noordhoek peak down towards Noordhoek Valley. That is still quite high up in the mountains, so we are not actively fighting that fire on the ground until it can come down to the lower slopes where we can access it. And then probably the most active front at the moment is in the Upper Tokai area, where it's burning, you know, in Upper Tokai as well as towards Constantia. There are some areas there where there's infrastructure that might also come under threat, like the Chrysalis Academy. We have some sandparks, office buildings there, and then also some of the wine farms do have a fire line above them. And that's where we're most actively fighting it at the moment with helicopters and ground crew as well.
Now, these wildfires have caused more than 190 households to evacuate. Is this potentially, this number going to increase?
Well, we're really not sure. It depends on what the fire behavior is and, of course, the wind conditions. So, you know, we do make assessments all the time. We work together with the Provincial Disaster Management as well as City of Cape Town to determine when areas actually need to be evacuated. We haven't heard of any upcoming evacuations at this moment. But we'll continue assessing according to what happens with the wind, the temperature and the wind direction as well.
Yeah, and finally, Megan, what would your message to residents along those affected areas be right now?
Well, I would just ask that people please respect all the closures that are in place. I understand that Okaapsevac has just been opened up again to traffic, and I would really appeal to people to stay out of the national park in those areas. We have already seen some people trying to go into the Silvermine areas, perhaps to look at the fire damage, but there are still very hot areas there. We don't want people to go into those areas and put themselves in danger. So all the hiking trails are still, and mountain bike trails are still closed in Silvermine, as well as the Tokai areas. And we ask that people please stay away from those areas to avoid getting in the way of emergency vehicles, as well as putting themselves in danger.
Megan, thank you so much for your time and good luck with trying to keep that fire also tamed as well. That was a Table Mountain National Park Manager, Megan Taplin.